Hey there folks, Sparrows here, and I'm so excited because the Isle of Armor came out and with it a bunch of new Move Tutor moves. I want to do a short series where I count down the best users of each of these new moves, starting with my personal favorite, Poltergeist. Now Poltergeist is a pretty cool move. If you don't know, Ghost types have been lacking a strong physical ghost move for a long time. The best moves they had prior to this was Shadow Claw, which had a base power of 70, and Phantom Force, which was a 2-turn move similar to Fly or Dig, with just a base power of 90. While it does break Protect, it is easy to counter. Now though, we have Poltergeist, which does a whopping 110 base power. It makes no contact, which means no iron barbs, no rough skin damage, and its only real downside is that it can only be used on Pokemon that are holding an item. But even that has kind of a neat benefit, because you get to scout out what item your opponent is actually holding. Now I've heard some people argue that this move is going to change the metagame. People are going to start running more berries, more consumable items, or no items at all and just run acrobatics. But after looking at who actually gets the move and who can utilize the move, I don't actually going to see that big of an impact to the metagame. Mostly because outside of the Rotom forms and Mew, the only Pokemon that get this are Ghost types, meaning it's going to be used as a stab move and not as a coverage move. On top of that, the amount of physical ghost types that can utilize this move are actually kind of shallow, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do a top 10. I would say maybe even only the top 6 or 7 can actively utilize this move the best. So with that said, let's look at the top 10 users of Poltergeist. Starting off at number 10, we have Decidueye. Now Decidueye rocks a base attack stat of 107, which is higher than a few other Pokemon that are higher up on this list. That said, Decidueye doesn't need to rely on Poltergeist as hard as other physical ghost types. It already has access to Spirit Shackle, which is more reliable because it can hit Pokemon even if they don't have items, and its additional effect of locking in an opponent isn't half bad. Also, Spirit Shackle doesn't make contact, and if you're running the ability Long Reach, you're not making contact anyways. So at face value, Poltergeist is only really useful if you want to do a little bit more damage. That said, if you want to do more damage, Poltergeist is the move to use. It does 30 more base point damage than Spirit Shackle, so if you're looking for a move that really has the oomph to score KOs, Poltergeist is definitely the move you want to use. While I don't think it'll be everywhere, it definitely will replace Spirit Shackle on some sets. Number 9 on my list is Alolan Marowak. Alolan Marowak falls into a similar category as Decidueye. It already has a strong, more reliable move in Shadow Bone, but if you want to pick up the extra damage, Poltergeist is an option. On the surface, Alolan Marowak only has a base physical attack of 80 points, but with Thick Club, that raises up to 160, making its hits as strong as a banded Decidueye. This certainly doesn't make it the strongest Pokemon that can use Poltergeist, but it is up there and it doesn't need to rely on Choice Band or Life Orb to do such damage, giving it a little bit more utility than some of the higher users. That said, Alolan Marowaks usually fall into a defensive role, so Shadow Bone might be a better pick there. Still, if you're looking for raw damage, Poltergeist is definitely the pick for Alolan Marowak. Number 8, Mew. Mew has access to pretty much every move in the game, making it really hard to wrap your head around just how well it can use Poltergeist. Still, as the strongest non-ghost physical attacker, Mew is the only Pokemon that can use Poltergeist as an actual coverage move, allowing it to primarily hit other psychic types that wall it, or ghost types looking for a kill on Mew. Is it the best pick for every Mew on every team? I don't think so, but Mew has so much versatility that there's bound to be plenty of sets that will make use of it. Number 7, Marshadow. Marshadow is a lot like Alolan Marowak and Decidueye. It already has a strong, reliable physical ghost stab, and Spectral Thief is perhaps the best ghost move there is. That said, if you want raw power, a Choice Banded Marshadow can definitely run Poltergeist to deal a lot of damage. Like the previous entries, Poltergeist is definitely not going to be a must for Marshadow, but if you're looking for damage, there's nowhere else to look. Number 6, Trevenant. Both Trevenant and Gourgeist get this move, and I think it'll be a staple on both of them, but Trevenant has the stronger raw physical attack to really make use of it. With a base attack of 110, offensive Trevenant sets already rely on Shadow Claw to do damage, but now they have an option to do massive damage. On top of that, Trevenant has an interesting niche as a counter to Poltergeist. While I don't think this is super reliable, you can run a Castleberry in the hidden ability Harvest to repeatedly soak up Poltergeist hits. Castleberries will reduce super effective ghost type hits in half, allowing Trevenant to take Poltergeist hits and then retaliate with its own. If your opponent happens to survive Poltergeist, you actually will be fine. You'll no longer have the item that will make you susceptible to Poltergeist. And if they happen to switch out, you'll be able to harvest back your Castleberry so that you can take another hit after recovering with Horn Leech. I don't think this is going to be a standard Trevenant set, but it definitely is an option if you're worried about other Poltergeist users. Like I said before, I don't think Poltergeist is actually going to affect item usage that much, but if it ends up making an impact, I can definitely see a set like this working. Overall, I think Trevenant's probably too slow or too frail to really utilize this in OU, but under Trick Room, it will definitely hit where it hurts. Number 5, Dusknoir. Dusknoir has always been overshadowed by Dusclops. And while Dusclops also gets access to this move, the base difference of 30 between Dusknoir and Dusclops' attack stat will definitely give Dusknoir a role outside of giving Dusclops the ability to use Eviolite. Dusknoir has a lot of bulk but is hindered by its low hit point stat. But the thing always holding it back was that its best attack was Shadow Punch. Now Dusknoir can really take hits and dish out a strong stab in retaliation. Like Trevenant, under Trick Room, this thing is going to shine. It definitely won't be OU material by any means, but it's still going to raise Dusknoir up a few tiers. Number 4, Froslass. Usually when people think of Froslass, they think of it as a fast special attacker. But did you know that Froslass's attack and special attack are actually the same? The only reason you don't see physical attacking Froslasses is because it has no good stab moves. Well, Poltergeist changes that. Now Froslass has a strong physical ghost attack to use. And on top of Ice Shard and Ice Crash for its other stab, Froslass finally has a means to be a physical attacker. And because Froslass is also a pretty good special attacker, this can really trip your opponent up. Froslass is also fairly fast with a base speed of 110, meaning you can really do fast banded damage with this thing. Froslass certainly doesn't hit the hardest with Poltergeist, but Froslass's increased versatility thanks to Poltergeist is definitely going to make it a new threat. Number 3, Little Cup bonus round. Okay, so this isn't exactly a 4-way tie, but Poltergeist is going to become a very good move in Little Cup, probably more so than any other tier. And that's because Little Cup relies on Eviolite a whole bunch, and also the stats of all the Pokemon are a lot closer in range. Golett is the strongest hitting Little Cup user that can use this move. Phantom and Pumpkaboo also can use it very well. And there are a few other Mons like Galarian and Mianmask that will probably utilize it. But I want to give an honorable mention to Sinistea. I know a lot of people want Polteageist to utilize this, but Polteageist really doesn't have the attack stat, even with Shell Smash, to make use of Poltergeist. But Sinistea can. A Shell Smash Sinistea can totally use Poltergeist viably in Little Cup. Do I think it's going to be as good as its special variant? Probably not. But Sinistea utilizes this move a whole lot better than Polteageist. Number 2, Dhelmise. Dhelmise is hands down the strongest user of this move. Even above Marshadow, Dhelmise has a whopping 131 base attack stat. In the past, most sets have relied on Shadow Claw, but now Dhelmise can really put in the work. Choice banded, nothing is going to hit harder than Dhelmise. You can even run Swords Dance on this thing if you really want up the ante. Now, like I said with previous Mons on this list, it's going to need to rely on Trick Room a lot to get the most out of this attack, and it probably won't move Dhelmise up to OU, but that's fine. Poltergeist not only gives Dhelmise a new niche, but it's an easy replacement for Shadow Claw in all of its more supportive sets. And like I said, nothing is going to hit harder than a choice banded Dhelmise. And number 1, Golurk. Golurk is right up there with Dhelmise in terms of attack strength. It has 124 base. Like the other entries on this list, it's always been held back by the fact that its best ghost stab has been Shadow Punch and Phantom Force. Now with Poltergeist, Golurk can spam physical attacks. I personally see Weakness Policy Rock Polish Golurk becoming very, very popular. On top of just the raw damage and the ability for it to be fast with Rock Polish, Golurk can utilize No Guard to guarantee 100% hits, as the move does have a 90% accuracy. Or you can use Iron Fist Drain Punch to heal up the damage you took to activate Weakness Policy. And this is why I think Golurk is the number 1 user of the new move Poltergeist. And that's my list. Let me know in the comments what you agree about or what move you want me to cover next. My name is Sparrows, and until next time, take care.